Have you ever felt a chill for no reason or sensed something watching you in an empty room? The stories I'm about to share aren't fiction. They're real events that have terrified communities and baffled investigators. We'll journey from the icy Russian mountains to haunted homes, exploring true accounts where logic fails and fear takes over. Each story is a puzzle with missing pieces, leaving us with more questions than answers. If you crave the strange and mysterious, you're in the right place. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's begin. Our first story takes us to the remote and unforgiving Ural Mountains, a vast range that stretches across Russia, a place of stark beauty and hidden dangers. These mountains have witnessed countless tales, some inspiring, others deeply unsettling. Our focus is drawn to a particularly desolate and chilling location, a place the locals call Dead Mountain or Kholat Shakhl in the local Mansi language. The name itself whispers of unease and foreboding. In the winter of 1959, a group of 9 experienced hikers, young and full of life, embarked on an expedition to conquer these very slopes. They were skilled mountaineers, familiar with the harsh conditions, but they were about to face something beyond their comprehension. Tragically, they vanished without a trace. Days later, a search party discovered their abandoned campsite. The tent, their only refuge against the brutal elements, was found slashed open, ripped violently from the inside, as if they were trying to escape something. What was even more perplexing were the footprints that led away from the tent, disappearing into the snow-covered wilderness, barefoot, a desperate act in the face of deadly cold and blizzard conditions. The search continued, and eventually some of the bodies were found near the remnants of a hastily made fire, barely clothed, succumbing to hypothermia in the sub-zero temperatures. But the horror didn't end there. Others were discovered buried in deep snowdrifts, and these individuals had suffered horrific injuries that defied explanation. They had suffered crushed bones, as if subjected to immense pressure. Even more disturbingly, some were missing their eyes and tongue, mutilations that fueled speculation and nightmares. Yet, despite the brutality of their injuries, there were no signs of a struggle, no indication of a fight or an attacker. The questions remain: why did these experienced hikers flee their only shelter, their only chance of survival in that frozen wasteland? What unseen force, what unimaginable terror could have driven them to such desperate measures? The official cause of death was declared to be a compelling natural force, a vague and unsatisfying explanation that left more questions than answers. But no one truly believes it. The details are too strange, too horrific to be explained away by a simple avalanche or blizzard. Decades later, the Dyatlov Pass incident, named after the group's leader Igor Dyatlov, remains one of the world's most chilling and perplexing unsolved mysteries, a haunting enigma that continues to baffle investigators and enthusiasts alike. Sometimes the mountain keeps its secrets locked deep within its icy heart, refusing to yield to explanation or understanding. And the truth, whatever it may be, is as cold and unforgiving as the night they died, lost forever in the frozen silence of Dead Mountain. The year is 1922. Deep in the Bavarian countryside, nestled amidst rolling fields and dense forests, stood a remote German farm called Hinterkaifeck. It was an isolated place, far from prying eyes and the hustle and bustle of modern life. The Gruber family called this farm home, but one chilling winter, an unsettling series of events began to unfold. Strange footprints appeared in the fresh snow, leading directly to the house, a clear path made by someone approaching. But here's the terrifying part: the tracks never led away. Whoever or whatever made them seemingly vanished into thin air. Adding to the growing unease, keys vanished mysteriously from their usual places. The sense of security the family once felt began to crumble. Whispers turned to fear as unsettling sounds echoed through the old farmhouse. Footsteps, heavy and deliberate, were heard in the attic above, even when no one was up there. The mounting dread became too much to bear. The family maid, overwhelmed by a sense of impending doom, fled in terror, unable to spend another night in the haunted house. Then, on the fateful day of March 31st, the unthinkable happened. The family, one by one, was lured into the dark and isolated barn. Perhaps they were investigating a noise, or perhaps they were tricked. There in the shadows, they were brutally murdered. Each member of the Gruber family met a violent end. But the horror didn't end there. The killer, or killers, then entered the farmhouse itself, completing their gruesome task. What happened next is perhaps the most disturbing part of the entire story. For days, someone continued to live in the house, tending to the farm, feeding the livestock, as if nothing had happened. They prepared and ate meals at the family table, leaving behind an unsettling scene of domestic normalcy amidst unimaginable horror. Then, as mysteriously as they arrived, they vanished without a trace, leaving behind only death and unanswered questions. The gruesome discovery of the bodies only occurred when concerned neighbors, noticing the family's unusual absence and the neglected state of the farm, decided to investigate. Despite a thorough investigation, the murderer was never caught, and their motive remains shrouded in mystery. To this day, the Hinterkaifeck murders remain one of Germany's most haunting and perplexing unsolved crimes. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes evil can walk right in, wreak havoc, and vanish, leaving behind a legacy of fear and unanswered questions. Villisca, Iowa, 1912, a town where no one locked their doors. That changed forever when the Moore family and 2 young guests were found bludgeoned to death in their beds. The killer covered mirrors, left food uneaten, and pulled sheets over every victim's face. Despite a massive investigation, no one was ever convicted. The house still stands, haunted by the memory of that night. The Villisca axe murders remain a chilling mystery. Sometimes the scariest monsters are human. In 2013, Elisa Lam checked into LA's infamous Cecil Hotel and vanished. Security footage showed her acting strangely in an elevator, as if hiding from someone or something. Weeks later, her body was found in a rooftop water tank, with no clear way she could have accessed it alone. The official cause, accidental drowning, complicated by mental illness. But how did she get onto the locked roof and into the sealed tank? Theories abound, but the truth remains elusive. The Cecil Hotel's dark reputation only deepened. Some mysteries refused to be solved. In 1872, the Mary Celeste was found adrift in the Atlantic. Intact, stocked with supplies but completely abandoned. The crew and captain's family had vanished without a trace. No signs of struggle, no damage, and valuable cargo left untouched. Theories range from pirates to storms to toxic fumes, but none fit perfectly. The fate of those aboard remains one of the sea's greatest mysteries. The Mary Celeste sailed on, empty, a ghost ship forever. Sometimes the ocean keeps its dead. Since the late 1990s, dozens of young men across the Midwest have vanished after nights out, only to be found drowned far from where they disappeared. Officially, these are accidents, but 2 detectives noticed a pattern. Smiley face graffiti near many recovery sites. They suspect a network of killers, the smiley face killers, targeting these men and staging their deaths. Authorities remain skeptical, but families and investigators are haunted by unanswered questions. Is it coincidence or something far darker? The truth remains submerged. Sometimes the water hides more than it reveals. 1977, the Hodgson family in Enfield, London reported furniture moving and strange voices. Police and paranormal investigators witnessed objects flying and children levitating. 11-year-old Janet became the focus, speaking in a deep, otherworldly voice. Skeptics claimed it was a hoax, but even they couldn't explain everything. The Enfield poltergeist case remains one of the most documented hauntings in history. Was it a trick or something truly supernatural? The evidence still divides believers and doubters. Some hauntings never fade. Imagine finding the perfect house, the one you've always dreamed of. A place to build memories, raise a family, and feel safe. In 2014, the Broaddus family thought they had found just that when they purchased a beautiful home in the idyllic suburban town of Westfield, New Jersey. Little did they know their dream was about to turn into a nightmare. Before they could even move in and unpack their belongings, they received chilling anonymous letters. These weren't friendly welcome notes from the neighbors. These letters were from someone calling themselves the Watcher, claiming to have been watching the house and its occupants for generations. The letters hinted at a sinister obsession with the property and its history. The letters revealed intimate details about the family, details that only someone closely observing them could know. The Watcher's words grew increasingly menacing, and chillingly, the letters began to directly threaten their children. More letters followed, each one escalating the sense of dread and paranoia. Each one was more disturbing than the last, filled with cryptic messages and unsettling questions. Understandably terrified for their safety and the well-being of their children, the family made the difficult decision to never move in. Their dream home had become a symbol of fear. A police investigation was launched, but despite their best efforts, the identity of the sender, the Watcher, was never definitively found. The case remains unsolved to this day. The Broadduses found themselves in an impossible situation. They were trapped, unable to sell the house and too afraid to ever stay there, constantly looking over their shoulders. To this day, the Watcher's identity remains a mystery, a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest threats come from the shadows. Sometimes the scariest threats are the ones you can't see, the unseen eyes that watch and wait. And some homes, once filled with the promise of happiness, never feel safe again, forever tainted by fear and uncertainty. June and Jennifer Gibbons, identical twins from Wales, spoke only to each other in a secret language. Their silence isolated them, earning them the name the Silent Twins. Their bond was so intense, they mirrored each other's actions and even starved themselves in turn. After years in a psychiatric hospital, they made a pact: for one to live, the other must die. Jennifer died suddenly, freeing June to finally speak to the world. Their story is a haunting testament to the power and danger of human connection. Sometimes love becomes a prison, and freedom comes at a terrible price. In 1897, Greenbrier County, West Virginia, a woman's ghost allegedly helped solve her own murder. Elvazona Heaster's mother claimed her daughter's spirit revealed she'd been strangled by her husband. Authorities exhumed the body and found a broken neck, just as the ghost described. The husband was convicted, and the case became the only U.S. trial where a ghost's testimony played a role. Fact or folklore, the Greenbrier ghost left its mark on history. Sometimes the dead demand justice, and sometimes the truth refuses to stay buried, even in court. These stories blur the line between reality and the unknown. From haunted homes to vanished hikers, they remind us that some mysteries may never be solved. If you've experienced something strange, share it in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the shadows. Like and subscribe for more true tales of the strange and dark. Until next time, stay safe, keep your eyes open, never forget that you can never hear enough tales from the Fiend.